Hi, welcome to the Backpacker Coach. Today I want to do something really special. I wanted to give you a review and an instruction tutorial on the Ashanks G1 camera slider. Even though a lot of people are going with the other carbon fiber one, this part here is exactly the same, and so this is the part that we're pretty much going to try to go over. I want to go through all the modes and how everything works. And just give you a little bit of a review, but mostly just an instruction tutorial on how this works. First, I just wanted to give you kind of how I got to this point. I was wanting to get some sort of a slider, and I looked on Amazon, and I ordered actually the other Ashanks, the carbon fiber, really nice one. It was supposed to be the 3 feet, 0.3, and I was excited. I ordered it, and it came. I opened up the box, and I got a tripod stand with wheels. So needless to say, I was really upset. I sent it back, and by the time I got my money back and everything, they said they didn't have any more in stock, and they didn't know when it was going to come back in stock. So I was really upset, and I also realized I needed to buy a couple of the little things. So that's one of the things I bought, was this tripod top mount with a ball, and I bought a few other little things. And so I didn't quite have as much money, and so I tried another camera slider, which was called by New Chips. That thing was terrible. It had a ton of issues. I sent it back, and on the top of it, it was, but within 2 days it stopped working, and so I sent it back, and I didn't like that one at all. So I continued to look, and I decided on this one. It was, obviously it's a little cheaper than the carbon fiber Ashanks one, but I figure that I'm just kind of getting into this, and so if I can make money or do really well at it, well, maybe I'll get a different one. But anyway, I wanted to go over this unit and how it works. So when I first pulled it out of the box and I set it up, first thing I noticed that the logo is kind of backwards and upside down, and so I had set it the other way so I could read it, and that's backwards. So you have to set it up with the motor on the right, and then nothing on the left. And then I noticed also, I believe it's over here, there's a B, which is not correct. This is A and this is B. So I put a couple little tiny stickers down in here saying A and B, just so I would remember which, just in case I would forget or whatever. So I remember this is A and this is B. A couple of the other little things to mention before we get into the actual unit of the Ashanks. Did a little time lapse this morning as I shot. Was testing it out, and it was in very cold weather. It was about 14 degrees, and I found out that the trigger release is just not long enough. Pretty much you have to let it drag along. What I'd like to be able to do, it does have some Velcro up here, which is really nice. So you can Velcro the battery and then Velcro this on top of it, like that. But to be able to do that, you need a much longer, this, you can see it doesn't even fit to almost like here. So you need one that's about 3 times as long. I did find one just on a B&H photo that this little coily part looks like to be about that long. So I think I'm going to be buying definitely an extension of that, because this is way too short. So the first thing that you always want to do before you go into any of the modes, you want to set your A and B points. If you're going to be doing any of the manual video or whatever, I would definitely suggest setting up your A and B points at the very edges, because what happens is if you set it a little shorter, what it happens is it'll go to that point and then it just cuts out real fast. So anyway, that's what I'm going to go over now. We're going to go and I'm going to show you how to set up the A and B points, and then we're going to go to the first mode of the video stuff. Okay, so we're going to scroll down to set A and B, and then all you have to do is click on it once, and then you're going to move to the right, so you can say yes, and then click again, and then we're going to set A. So we're going to move it to the right, okay, we're going to say that's good for now, and then we're going to press down to select that spot, and then we're going to go to B, and we're going to select over here, okay, and now we're going to select B, and it says setup complete. So there we go. So now your A and B are completely set, and now we can go, we're going to go first to the video mode. So in video mode, you have three different things. You have continuous moving, and then you have the manual transmission, and then on the bottom it says the auto rounds, and that means if you have it on the continuous movement, it'll go back and forth pretty much forever. So we're going to go to continuous movement first, and what you have here is you have different, it starts out in pause, and then you have the speed, and you have the position, which we don't have to worry about. So with the speed, which if you want to make it going slower or faster, all you have to do is move this up or down. So I'm going to go down first. See, so it goes up and goes down. So we'll set it for, let's say, 76. Okay, and then all we have to do to make it go, we're going to make it go to the left, is you just push the toggle switch to the left, and it starts. And there it goes off, and it'll bounce between those two spots until you tell it to stop. Now what's cool is, let's say that you want to go faster, you can tell it to go faster while we're doing this. So we can tell it, hey, I want to go faster. So now you can hear it, the motor, it's going faster. Alright, so that's that. And you can hit the button again to hit pause. So the only thing now is if you want to get back out of this menu and back to the main menu, this is something that I did not find out on my own. I actually ended up finding it on YouTube. Is you have to hold down, hold a long hold, and then it'll go back to the beginning of the main menu. Alright, so next I wanted to show you the manual transmission on the video. So if we go to manual and select that, you have the same thing where it starts out on pause. And something you have to remember, that when it says speed there, when you're in manual, that is only remembering it from the other mode, that actually doesn't really exist. So you don't have to, that doesn't really actually matter, because it's all controlled by the joystick here. So the joystick is is if you want to go to 100%, you push it over 100% and it moves. And you can see, like I was telling you about earlier, when if you have your points here and here, like in the where it's not able to move on very far, and if it finds out, it just stops. So I wanted to let you know that. But anyway, when you see how it ramps, so you move, and if you let it go, it does a really nice job of ramping down or ramping up. It does much better job on ramping up and ramping down on the manual mode as opposed to the automatic mode. So it does pretty well on the automatic mode with the ramping up and ramping down, but I think that there's going to be a few issues with if you're doing something up really close. You're probably going to want to make sure to slow it down at least to like 50% or so, but you'll have to play around a little bit. But at 100% on the auto mode, if you're doing something really close, you might have a little jerk at the at the ends, especially if you have like a heavy rig up on this guy here. So that's what I wanted to show you. That's pretty simple. Something else I also wanted to show you, that there is also this here at the bottom. So this, where it says torsion, it has 3 different settings. It has maximum, strong, medium, and weak. Now, what I believe that is referring to is to be able to, if you have something that's extremely heavy, you can be able to put more torque on it, so it's able to move your camera if you have something that's really heavy. On the instructions on the website, it was saying it could take something up to 44 pounds. I don't know if I believe that or not, but that's pretty amazing. So when I've been doing most of my stuff, I have been keeping it on weak, and it seems to be just fine. I don't have any issues with that at all. So I wanted to give you just a few examples before we go on to the time lapse of the video shot. So we're gonna go to that real quick. I'm gonna show you just a couple shots that I did with the video and see what you think. Okay, so before we go on to the next part of showing you how the time-lapse part works, I wanted to go over how an actual good time-lapse slider and what the modes are, what they should really have. So in the first, when you're setting up for time-lapse, what each one should have is, it should first have where this small section where it will let the camera stop shaking. And this section, usually you can change it between 1 to 3 seconds at least. So then the next one is the shutter speed, and this is allowing the time for the shutter to release and to take the picture. That usually is between, a 50th of a second and a 30th of a second, but obviously it can go higher. But do keep in mind that usually that's not actually telling the camera to take the picture, it's only allowing that time to take the picture. So the next is the stop time. That's the time that the camera sits there waiting till it moves again. And obviously, and then that is can range anywhere from 1 second to 30 seconds or more. So then the next part you have to know is that with the way that works, the shutter speed can always move, but then the stop time doesn't move. And that's a great advantage, so you don't have to worry about what we're going to be talking about next with the Ashanks time-lapse slider. There's a little issue there. So we're going to go on to that next. Okay, now we're going to talk about how the Ashanks works. So first, you know that when it stops, you can't control that. So, and I feel like it's just stops just long enough, but I wish it would be like maybe like 1.5 seconds or something like that. But anyway, you can't control that, so that's its first little downfall there. So next, let's just say that you're going to have a stop time of 5 seconds. Now, under starting conditions of, like, say during the daytime, you take that and you're going to have a 50th second shot. What that does is that's going to eat away just a 50th second of your 5 seconds. Now that's not too bad when dealing with daytime shots, that kind of thing. That's no big deal. The problem comes when you start doing long exposures. So if you do, let's say, a 5-second shot, that eats up all of your 5-second stop time. So that's a problem. So what do you do? Alright, so what you do is you have to increase, you pretty much, on this example, you have to double the stop time. So we have to have 10 seconds. So you have 5 seconds for your shutter speed, and then you have to have 5 seconds for your stop time. So that's how you get around that issue of because there is no shutter time where it's allowing, you can't change that time, so it's always eating into that stop time. So that's something you have to just always keep in mind.
Okay, so next we're going to go into the different time-lapse modes. So we're going to go scroll down one, and here we have 3 different modes. The first one is shutter sync, the second one is Synchro App, and the third one is auto shooting. So the first one is probably what I would imagine you'd be using the most, and that one's the shutter sync. So we're going to select that one first. Oops. I'm going to select that one first, And in this we have, so I can read it here. That's the first one is interval shots. What that means is that's how long the camera is going to be stopping for. And the next is how many photos you want it to take. The next one after that, this one, is the directions, so whether you want it to go from A to B or B to A. And then, so for this one, so all you have to do to change it is when you have it selected is go to the left or go to the right. So that's all you have to do there. And all it has to be is highlighted like that. Same thing, and the same with the photos. Go to the right, it goes up, or go to the left, it goes down. And then same thing with A. You can do either AB or BA. So then, and I forgot to mention the bottom part where it says total time. That is pretty self-explanatory. So in between A and B is the total time that it's going to run. So see there, it looked like it was 43 minutes. So that's all that is just the total time it's going to take for it to run. And that's it for that part. What I've been doing is I just go to photo, and then all you have to do to start is just press down on the joystick, and then it will go to where we set up the last the A point, which was at the end of the rail there. So that's where it's going to go. And then it'll start taking pictures. And every 6 seconds, it's going to move a little bit. And every 6 seconds, it'll take another shot. So now, while that's going on, while you have that going, you can see your interval time at the bottom there. Now this is something that I was explaining to earlier. So now if you have something that you're going to be doing like a day or dusk to night, you're going to end up having to change the interval time to longer as time goes on. So you can do that actually right as it's shooting. So all you have to do is press up on the joystick, oh, okay, sorry, I was wrong. So all you have to do on the joystick is press to the right, and it'll go up in number in interval time. So now it's 8 seconds interval instead of 4. And you can also go, of course, the other way too. So all you have to do is move to the left to make it go down, or you go to the right to make it go up. And if you want to pause it for some odd reason, just press the joystick and it'll stop after it finishes its last thing. And you can see there the photos. It'll show you at what part of where it's at. It was at photo 17 of 336 photos. So that is it there. That's all you have to do with that one. So now let's go to the next one. Okay, so the next one on the app, on this one, is called Synchro App. And what we believe this one to be is that I think it's for, they have a phone app where you can actually make this be cordless. So there's a little hole here on the bottom, and we think that they plug in some sort of a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connection thing on the bottom, and then you can connect your phone to this this device. That is what we believe to be what it is. But that's only our guess. But otherwise, it doesn't really do anything. So let's go on to auto shooting, which is kind of funny to call it auto shooting. What they really should call it is manual shooting, because all this is you have your direction of where you want to start and end, and a time. So you probably see there's an M at the very end. What I believe that stands for is minutes. And then the next little number there where it says 5, so it should be like 5 minutes from point A. So from point A over here to point B is going to be roughly 5 minutes. I'm going to show you kind of a graph of what I had and show you how it kind of works, and it's sort of kind of, you know, they're not exact, but they're close. So I wanted to check to see if the M actually stood for minutes, and so I started timing. I started with the 1, 2, 3, and 5, and I came up with a kind of odd. So I started with 1, and it was actually for only 30 seconds, and then I did 2, and it was 1 minute and 55 seconds, and then I did 3, which was 2 minutes and 57 seconds, and then I tried 5, and that was only 4 minutes and 29 seconds. So you can see that they're not very accurate, and that was the full length of the slider of what that I had put in from A to B. So it'll be probably, like I said before, fairly close, but it's not going to be extremely accurate by any means. Just to let you know that that's what they were trying to go for, but it's just not very accurate. So you know that you'll get close to 4 minutes or 5 minutes or 6 minutes, but they're not going to be exact. But how this works and how you use this is it's a little different. So you actually have to have another kind of intervalometer. Usually you set it up here, and then you would attach your intervalometer to your camera, and then you don't need this because it's not going to be controlling. And what you do is, we can actually unplug this, doesn't really matter. And what you do, let's say that you want something really, really long. So it's going to say, it's going to go really, really, really slow. It's going to be, and let's just switch this to B to A. Alright, so it's going to be 13 minutes it's going to take to go from B over here to A. So if I hit the start button, it's going to run itself over there first. And then if you have another intervalometer attached to this thing, you could hear it. It's going to slowly move. It's not going to do this stop, shoot, move kind of thing. It's going to continually just slowly move at whatever speed that you set it. And you can hear it. You hear the ticking, That's it, slowly moving. And you could shoot that way if you have another intervalometer attached to your camera, and you could shoot that way if you wanted to have it really really slow that way. It looks like it'd be very possible to do. I'm not sure how much motion you get, you know, how much fuzz you get, but that's something that'll be interesting to try sometime. But that's how that works. That's how you set that up for that kind of stuff. So we're going to just hit pause here. So a few other things I just wanted to show and go over. So there's these legs here. These fold in nicely and easily. You can see how these, so you can fold these in if you want like that. And then these are very nice little rubber things, and they can you want it to balance whatever, you can move them in and out. And then these knobs, there's a little tiny screw that goes in this channel here, and I removed this so you can see here. There's this, and it just goes along this channel, and then this comes off, and that's all that's and this also fits the little tripod mount. So like this, these guys, so it'll fit these, and you can put that on the one side, and then you can tilt it up, and then you can do like what I had done on one of my other time lapses, and you can raise it. I just want to show you guys this one funny thing. When I unpackaged this slider, the legs here, these guys, were wrapped in newspaper, and they were wrapped in official, it was actually Chinese newspaper, Japanese newspaper, I don't know exactly what it is, but anyway, it's pretty funny to see. It was actually even has a date right there. You can see 2017-5. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, there's kind of funny, can't read any of it, but funny to see that stuff was actually, that's why I guess we don't get any instruction manuals. So I just wanted to show you guys that funny part. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit. I can't put my big camera on here while it's filming, but I just wanted to show you that you can easily have this at 70 degrees, and it'll easily be able to take a professional camera. I've run it several times, time-lapse, running it up and down to see how it takes it. And it does not slip at all. It is able to, it seems to do it easily without any problem. The only issue I've had, and I think it's because the belt is not quite tight enough, is that about right here it'll have a little hiccup, and it'll slip for 1 second, and it's because there's a gap, or because of the belt needs to be a little tighter, and I still have to figure out how to tighten the belt a little bit. But other than that, it doesn't slip, it doesn't struggle. So I was just going to show you with this camera, just because I know it's a lot later, but this one, it does really well. There's no issue with it at all. It does very well, and it's got plenty of power to be able to take a professional camera with a professional lens. It does really well. And I have it set to stop about there. So anyway, it does really well. It has plenty of power. I like it really good so far. So that's was just the one other thing I wanted to show you guys.
It has plenty of power to be able to do, you know, the 70-degree angle, no problem at all. Oh, and then I was just going to mention one other thing. This, of course, doesn't come with a battery. So I bought this battery pack. It's probably almost overkill. It can last for a very long time. This is a good amount of power to be able to run this for a very, very long time. It doesn't run the batteries down very far at all. So it works really well if you want to. I even put a link in for this one. I don't know how they say this one, but it's HuaF, and this is a great battery pack. It's obviously big, it's heavy. I probably don't need something quite that big. It probably can be a little smaller, but anyway, I didn't want to run out of juice. So I just got something that I knew that it would be able to hold a large amount of power. So that's about everything. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that please, if you have any other questions, stuff that I didn't answer or didn't go over very well, please comment, and I will get back to you. So I just wanted to show you my first time-lapse video I did with my slider, and here it is.